بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على نبينا الصادق الأمين وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. In the name of God, the merciful, the beneficent, all prayer and praise is due to the Prophet Muhammad and his holy household. In this series of episodes, we will take a few quotes, a few wisdoms from the Ahlulbayt, inshallah, and we will explain them and go through them. In this narration, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq narrates from his father, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, who was advised by his father, Imam Zainul Ali ibn al-Husayn Zainul Abidin. The narration says Imam Abi Abdullah Ja'far al-Sadiq was told by his father, Muhammad al-Baqir, who was advised by Imam Zainul Abidin, saying, "O my son, 5 individuals, beware of 5 individuals. Do not befriend them, nor speak to them, nor accompany them on the road." Imam al-Baqir says, "O father, reveal these individuals to me." The Imam says, "My son, beware of befriending the liar, for he is like a mirage, making what is far seem near and what is near seem far." That is clear. A liar will always lie about the situation at hand. Something that is unreachable far, he'll make it seem simple. While something that is simple and easy, if they wish to, they will make it seem like it is too difficult to do or too difficult to achieve. Then the Imam says, "And beware of befriending the immoral, for he will sell you for a meal or less than that." And that is something that we see in our day-to-day lives. Individuals who are immoral, if you say a secret, for example, to someone who's immoral, they are willing to sell you for a cup of coffee. Let's have coffee and talk about it. Let's drink some tea and talk about it. And he will sell all of your secrets. Then the Imam says, "Beware of befriending the moron," the individual who is unwise, "for he will want to benefit you but end up harming you." That is because this individual has no wisdom. This individual goes about his life without any consideration for wisdom and whether those actions are right or incorrect, so on and so forth. The Imam says, beware of this individual, because he might have good intentions at heart. He wants to benefit you, but will end up harming you. Then the Imam says, "And beware of befriending the one who severs ties with their kin, for I have found this individual damned in the book of Allah, in the Quran, in 3 different places." Then the Imam narrates the verses. He says, in chapter 47, verse 22, Surah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, he says, verse 22, "Then if you turn away, you are solely expected to do mischief in the land and sever the ties of kinship." The next verse in Surah Al-Ra'd, chapter 13, verse 25, the verse reads, "Those who break the covenant of Allah after its confirmation and cut asunder what Allah has commanded to be joined and make corruption on earth." Wal-'iyadhu billah. And in the final verse, "Those who break the covenant of Allah after its confirmation and cut asunder what Allah has commanded to be joined, and they make corruption on earth, they are indeed the losers, the ones that have lost." This is in the 2nd chapter, Al-Baqarah, verse 27. The Imam gives us guidelines of how to choose our friends and who we should consider not to be a friend, who we should avoid, beware of. When we take these attributes of these individuals, we see that each one has a social and spiritual side effect. For example, an individual who is corrupt, who is mischievous, who is immoral, will affect you both physically and mentally, spiritually and worldly, so on and so forth. An individual who cuts ties with their kin, meaning their parents, their sisters, their brothers, their nephews, their cousins, those who are close to them. That individual, if he's willing to sever ties with his nearest of kin, with his closest individuals, with no doubt that individual will very easily sever ties with you and might end up harming you by doing so. So keeping these attributes in mind, do not befriend the moron, do not befriend the immoral, do not befriend, as the Imam says, the individual who's a liar. And that is a very big one. Hence the Imam says the first attribute that you should not befriend, the first individual, is a liar. Because if an individual is willing to lie, then you cannot trust what they say. How do you know what they're telling you is truth or falsehood? How can you trust their word? And that would carry on to their action as well. An individual who would lie about the simple things, the small things, how can you trust them when you need them most? An individual who is stingy, one of the attributes. An individual who is stingy would let you down financially when you are in need of his finances the most. Why? Because he's stingy, because his biggest concern is income, his wealth, his finances. Keeping these in mind, I ask Allah to bless us all, inshaAllah, and to hasten the appearance of our Imam. And I ask you to keep my parents in your dua. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.